What if the fears that hold you back could become the keys to your freedom? Imagine a life where anxiety no longer calls the shots, where you face challenges with a calm heart and a clear mind. For over 2,500 years, Buddhist teachings have offered profound wisdom to millions, guiding them to overcome fear and live with courage, peace, and purpose. In this video, we're diving into 6 transformative lessons from the Buddha that will help you understand fear, shift your perspective, and break free from its grip. From embracing the fleeting nature of life to cultivating patience in the face of uncertainty, these teachings aren't just ancient philosophy, they're practical tools for transforming your life today. Stick with me, and I'll share personal insights and practices that have reshaped how I navigate fear, and I promise, by the end, you'll have a roadmap to face your fears with newfound strength. So, let us embark on this journey together. Your path to fearlessness starts right now. 1. Embrace impermanence. Anicca. What if the secret to overcoming fear lies in embracing the one truth we all try to avoid? Everything in life, every joy, every pain, every fear is fleeting, slipping through our fingers like sand. This is the essence of Anicca, the Buddhist teaching of impermanence, a profound wisdom that has guided millions toward peace for over 2,500 years. Fear often grips us when we resist the natural flow of change, when we cling desperately to things like our jobs, relationships, or even our sense of self, as if they could ever remain fixed. But by recognizing that everything, our thoughts, emotions, and fears is temporary, we can let go of the need to control the uncontrollable, freeing ourselves from the anxiety that chains us to the future. Let me share how this teaching has reshaped my understanding of life and how it can transform yours, offering a path to live with courage, clarity, and presence. Impermanence is not just a concept. It is the heartbeat of existence. Look around you. The seasons shift from vibrant spring to quiet winter, days fade into night, and even the mightiest trees eventually return to the earth. Our lives mirror this constant flux. The job you love today may not be yours tomorrow. The relationship that feels eternal might one day change. Even the fear that wakes you up at 3 a.m., whispering worst-case scenarios, will not last forever. Yet, we suffer when we resist this truth. We cling to the illusion that we can freeze time, that we can hold onto what is familiar and safe. This attachment fuels fear of loss, fear of failure, fear of the unknown. The Buddha taught that this resistance, this craving for permanence in an impermanent world, is the root of our suffering. But hear us the liberating truth. When you accept that everything is temporary, including your fears, you begin to loosen their grip on your heart. For me, this realization came during a particularly turbulent time. I was facing uncertainty in my career, and the fear of losing stability consumed me. I'd lie awake, imagining every possible disaster, financial ruin, disappointment, failure. But then I began reflecting on Anicca. I noticed how my fears, though intense, would ebb and flow. They weren't permanent fixtures. They were passing clouds in the vast sky of my mind. This shifted something deep within me. Instead of fighting change, I started to lean into it. I reminded myself that just as my hardships were temporary, so too were my joys, and that was okay. Life's impermanence doesn't rob us of meaning. It invites us to savor each moment fully, knowing it won't last forever. To embrace impermanence is to release the need for control. We often think that if we plan enough, worry enough, or grip tightly enough, we can dictate life's outcomes. But life laughs at our plans. The future is a mystery, and no amount of anxiety can unravel it. By accepting this, you stop wasting energy on what might happen and start living in what is happening. This doesn't mean you become passive or stop caring. It means you act with intention while trusting that whatever comes, good or bad, will change in time. Your mind adapts, your heart heals, and life moves forward. This trust dissolves the fear of permanent failure or pain, replacing it with a quiet confidence that you can face whatever arises. So, how do you practice this? Start by reflecting on the changing nature of the world around you. Notice the small cycles of life, the way morning dew evaporates, the way a tree's leaves fall and regrow. These are reminders that nothing stays the same, not even your fears. Take a moment each day to observe your thoughts and emotions without clinging to them. Are you anxious about a work deadline? A strained relationship? Acknowledge the feeling, but remind yourself, this too shall pass. Then anchor yourself in the present. Focus on your breath, the warmth of your coffee mug, the sound of birds outside. The present moment is all you truly have, and it is where fear loses its power. This practice isn't about denying fear or pretending change doesn't hurt. It's about meeting life with openness, knowing that every ending is also a beginning. When you stop overthinking the future or dreading worst-case scenarios, you create space for peace. You begin to see fear not as an enemy but as a fleeting visitor, one that doesn't define you. Embracing anicca has taught me to live with less resistance and more grace, and I believe it can do the same for you. So, take a deep breath, let go of the need to hold everything in place, and step into the flow of life. You'll find that the courage you seek is already within you, waiting to be uncovered. 2.C The illusion of fear. What if the fears that haunt you are nothing more than shadows cast by your own mind? Fear can feel like an unshakable truth, gripping your heart with its what-if scenarios. What if I fail? What if I lose everything? But the Buddha taught a profound truth. Fear is not a fact. It is a thought, a fleeting illusion woven by our imagination. By recognizing fear as a mental construct, not reality, you can strip it of its power and see it for what it truly is, a signal of growth, not a barrier. This Buddhist wisdom, rooted in 2,500 years of insight, has reshaped how I face life's uncertainties, and I am excited to share how it can help you transform fear into a stepping stone for courage and freedom. Fear often feels real because our minds are masterful storytellers. Picture this: you're about to give a presentation and your stomach churns. Your heart races as you imagine forgetting your lines or facing a room of blank stares. But what is actually happening? You're standing in a quiet room, safe and sound. The fear comes from a story your mind has spun, a cascade of what-ifs that Haventian may never come to pass. The Buddha taught that much of what we experience is an illusion created by our thoughts. Fear is no exception. It is not a reflection of reality but a projection of possibilities, often the worst ones we can conjure. This realization hit me hard during a time when I was paralyzed by the fear of making a wrong career move. I'd lie awake, picturing every disaster: unemployment, regret, failure. But when I paused to examine these thoughts, I saw they were just that, thoughts, not truths. Seeing fear as an illusion doesn't mean dismissing it or pretending it doesn't exist. It means shining a light on it with awareness. When fear arises, it is like standing at the edge of a cliff, heart pounding, palms sweaty. Your mind screams that you're in danger. But are you really? No, you're safe, yet your imagination has painted a vivid picture of falling. By recognizing this, you begin to separate yourself from the story. You're not the fear. You're the awareness behind it, the strength that can face it. This perspective changed everything for me. Instead of letting fear stop me, I started to see it as a sign I was stepping out of my comfort zone. That anxiety before a big decision, it wasn't a warning to retreat, it was a signal I was on the verge of growth, of becoming more than I was. So, how do you practice this? Start by pausing when fear creeps in. Notice the thoughts fueling it. Are you worrying about a future that hasn't happened? Label it. This is just a thought. Remind yourself that fear is not real in the way a chair or a tree is real. It is a mental pattern, one you can choose to engage with or let pass. For me, this practice became a lifeline during moments of self-doubt. When I'd spiral into what if I am not good enough, I'd take a deep breath and say, this is fear talking, not reality. Over time, this simple act of awareness weakened fear's hold. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The shadows vanish when you face them. This teaching isn't about erasing fear. It is about transforming your relationship with it. Fear will always arise when you dare to grow, when you step into the unknown. But it doesn't have to control you. The Buddhist wisdom reminds us that fear is a thought, and thoughts are impermanent. They come and go like clouds in the sky, By seeing fear as an illusion, you reclaim your power. You stop letting it dictate your choices and start seeing it as a teacher, guiding you toward courage. For me, this shift has meant taking risks I once avoided, speaking up, pursuing dreams, embracing uncertainty. And each time, I've found that fear's bark is worse than its bite. You have that power too. The next time fear knocks, don't fight it or run from it. Look at it. See it for what it is, a fleeting thought, not a fact. Remind yourself it is a sign you're regrowing, not a barrier to your potential. With practice, you will find that fear loses its grip, and in its place, you will discover a quiet strength, a courage that has been within you all along. Step into that truth and watch how your life transforms. 3. Cultivate mindfulness. Study. What if the key to taming fear lies in the simple act of being fully here, right now? Fear thrives in the shadows of past regrets or future worries, but mindfulness study in Buddhist teachings anchors you in the present moment, where fear loses its grip. By practicing mindful breathing or body awareness, you can observe fearful thoughts and physical sensations, like a racing heart or tight chest, without being swept away by them. This creates mental stability, empowering you to respond with calm clarity instead of reacting impulsively. Let me share how this practice has transformed my relationship with fear, and how it can guide you toward a life of peace and resilience. Mindfulness is like a steady hand on the wheel of your mind. Fear often pulls us into stories replaying past mistakes or imagining future disasters. Have you been there, caught in a loop of what if I mess this up? Before a big moment. But when I bring my attention to the present, those fears start to fade. The Buddha taught that the present moment is where we find freedom. By focusing on your breath or the sensations in your body, you create a space between yourself and fear. You see it for what it is, a passing thought, not an undeniable truth. This practice became my refuge during a time of overwhelming anxiety. Instead of spiraling, I'd pause, feel my breath, and notice the tension in my shoulders. Slowly, the fear lost its intensity. To practice, start with mindful breathing. Inhale deeply, feel the air fill your lungs, then exhale slowly. Notice the rhythm, or bring awareness to your body. Feel your feet on the ground or the warmth of your hands. When fear creeps in, don't fight it. Observe it. Is your heart racing? Are your palms sweaty? Acknowledge these sensations with curiosity, not judgment. I remember sitting with a knot of dread before a tough conversation. Instead of pushing it away, I noticed it, labeled it here's fear again, and watched it soften. This act of observing without reacting builds mental strength, letting you choose how to respond rather than being hijacked by panic. Mindfulness doesn't erase fear, but it changes how you relate to it. It's like watching clouds drift across the sky. You see them, but you don't chase them. This practice has taught me to meet life's uncertainties with a steady heart, and it can do the same for you. When fear arises, anchor yourself in the now. Feel your breath, notice your surroundings, and let the stories in your mind pass. With each moment of presence, you will find a quiet power, a calm that lets you face fear not as an enemy, but as a fleeting visitor. Embrace this practice, and you will discover a resilience that carries you through life's storms with grace. For understand the nature of suffering, dukkha. What if the fear that feels so personal, so isolating, is actually something that binds us all together? In Buddhist teachings, dukkha, the nature of suffering, reveals that fear, whether it is fear of failure, loss, or even death, is a universal human experience. Knowing that everyone grapples with these same anxieties makes fear less lonely, less like a personal flaw. This perspective, rooted in the Buddha's wisdom, normalizes fear as a natural part of life, helping you face it with less intensity and more compassion. Let me share how this understanding has reshaped my view of fear and how it can guide you toward a deeper sense of connection and peace. Suffering is woven into the fabric of existence. The Buddha taught that dukkha is not a punishment or a personal failing, but a fundamental truth of being human. Fear, as one of its many forms, arises when we face uncertainty, loss, or perceived threats. We all know it, the knot in your stomach before a big decision, the dread of losing someone you love, or the quiet panic of wondering if you're enough. I've felt it too, lying awake at night, gripped by the fear that I'd fail at something important. In those moments, fear felt like my own private burden, something I alone had to carry. But then I began to explore dukkha, and it changed everything. I realized that fear isn't unique to meet us, a thread that runs through every heart. This universality is strangely comforting. Think about it. The colleague who seems so confident, they've feared failure too. The friend who's always smiling, they've wrestled with the fear of loss. Even the stranger on the street has faced the same existential dread about mortality. Knowing that fear is a shared experience makes it less intimidating. It is not a sign that you're broken or weak. It is a sign you're human. This hit home for me during a difficult period when I felt overwhelmed by the fear of letting others down. I confided in a close friend, expecting to feel exposed, but instead, they shared their own fears about their career, their relationships. In that moment, I felt a profound connection. My fear didn't vanish, but it became less heavy, less isolating. Understanding dukkha doesn't mean resigning yourself to suffering. It means seeing fear as part of the natural flow of life, as like a storm that passes through, real, powerful, but not permanent. This perspective reduces fear's sting. When you stop viewing it as a personal defect, you stop fighting it so fiercely. Instead, you can approach it with curiosity and kindness. I've learned to pause when fear arises and remind myself, this is just part of being human. This simple shift has made fear feel less like an enemy and more like a companion on the journey, one that everyone else is walking with too. So, how do you embrace this? Start by reflecting on the shared nature of fear. When you feel afraid, consider that others right now are feeling something similar. Maybe it is a parent worried about their child, a student anxious about an exam, or a neighbor facing an uncertain future. This reflection builds a bridge between you and the world. You can also practice self-compassion. When fear creeps in, don't judge yourself. Say, this is okay. Everyone feels this sometimes. For me, this practice has been a lifeline. During moments of self-doubt, I remind myself that fear is universal, and that gives me the courage to keep going. This teaching offers a powerful gift. It reminds you that you're never alone in your struggles. Fear loses its grip when you see it as a shared human experience, not a personal failing. You begin to face it with less intensity, knowing it is part of the messy, beautiful reality of life. By embracing dukkha, you open your heart to connection with yourself, with others, and with the world. So, the next time fear whispers in your ear, take a deep breath and remember, you're not alone. We're all in this together, and that shared truth is what sets you free. 5. Let go of attachment, tanha. What if the fear holding you back is rooted in the very things you're clinging to? In Buddhist teachings, tanha, craving or attachment, fuels our fears by making us believe that our happiness and security depend on holding tightly to things, people, or outcomes. Whether it is a job, a relationship, or a perfect plan, this clinging creates anxiety, as we dread losing what we think defines us. But non-attachment isn't about indifference. It is about enjoying life without depending on external conditions for your peace. By focusing on effort, like doing your best, rather than obsessing over results, and embracing life's unpredictability, you can loosen fear's grip. Let me share how letting go of attachment has reshaped my life, and how it can guide you toward a freedom that fear can't touch. Attachment is like grasping at water. The tighter you hold, the more it slips away, leaving you anxious and empty. We cling to things we believe will make us whole. A promotion that promises success, a relationship that feels like home, or even an image of who we think we should be. But the Buddha taught that this craving, tanha, is the root of suffering. Fear often stems from the belief that without these things, we'll lose our happiness or security. I've felt this deeply. There was a time when I pinned my entire sense of worth on a career milestone. The fear of not achieving it consumed me. Every setback felt like a personal failure. But when I began to explore non-attachment, I saw that my happiness didn't depend on that outcome. Life's joy lies in the journey, not the destination. Non-attachment doesn't mean you stop caring or give up on what matters. It's about loving fully while knowing nothing is permanent. You can cherish a relationship without needing it to define you. You can work hard without tying your identity to the result. This shift freed me in ways I didn't expect. When I stopped clinging to that career goal, I poured my energy into doing my best each day. The fear of failure faded, replaced by a quiet confidence that I was enough, regardless of the outcome. Non-attachment lets you engage with life openly, without the weight of expecting external things to complete you. Practicing this starts with focusing on effort over results. When fear arises, say, before a big project or exam, shift your attention to what you can control. Do your best, prepare thoroughly, but release the need to dictate the outcome. I've found this incredibly grounding. During a time when I was anxious about a family situation, I focused on showing up with love and presence, rather than trying to control how things unfolded. The fear didn't vanish, but it became manageable. Another practice is accepting life's unpredictability. We fear the unknown because we can't predict what's next, but life is inherently uncertain. Instead of fighting this, lean into it. Trust that you'll adapt just as you always have. This trust dissolves the need to micromanage every moment. Letting go of attachment is liberating because it roots your peace within you, not in fleeting external conditions. You begin to see fear as a signal of clinging, not a threat to your core. This perspective has helped me face uncertainties like career changes or personal losses with less panic and more grace. It has taught me to savor life's moments without needing them to last forever. You can cultivate this too. When fear whispers that you'll lose what you love, pause. Remind yourself, my happiness isn't tied to this. Focus on the effort, embrace the unknown, and let life unfold. With each step, you'll find a freedom that fear can't shake, a deep, steady strength that comes from knowing you're whole, no matter what changes come. This practice isn't about detaching from life's beauty. It's about living it fully, with open hands. By letting go of tanha, you create space for joy that doesn't depend on outcomes. You face fear with courage, knowing it is just a passing cloud, not your truth. So, take a breath, release your grip, and step into the flow of life. We'll discover a peace that is yours, always, no matter what the world brings. 6. Cultivate patience. Kanti. What if the secret to conquering fear lies in simply waiting, in embracing the unknown with a steady heart? Fear thrives on our impatience, our desperate need for quick answers, instant fixes, or control over life's uncertainties. In Buddhist teachings, Kanti patience is a powerful virtue that allows you to accept discomfort, uncertainty, and delays without spiraling into panic. By being patient with yourself, recognizing that growth takes time and mistakes are natural, you reduce the fear of failure and build a quiet, enduring resilience. Let me share how cultivating patience has transformed my approach to fear, and how it can guide you toward a life of calm and courage. Fear often feels like a fire fueled by urgency. We want to know now, will this job work out? Will this relationship last? Will I be okay? When answers don't come fast enough, or when life unfolds on its own unpredictable timeline, we panic. I've been there, gripped by anxiety before a major life decision, desperate for certainty that wasn't mine to have. My mind raced, imagining every worst-case scenario, as if worrying could force the future to reveal itself. But the Buddha taught that impatience feeds suffering, while patience offers a way out. Kanti is the art of sitting with the unknown, of trusting that things will unfold in their own time, even when you can't see the path ahead. Patience doesn't mean passivity. It is an active choice to embrace discomfort without running from it. Life is full of uncertainties, delays in achieving goals, setbacks in relationships, moments when you feel stuck. Fear whispers that you can't handle the weight, that the discomfort will break you. But patience teaches you otherwise. It's like standing in a storm, knowing the rain will pass. I learned this during a period when a project I poured my heart into wasn't progressing as planned. The fear of failure loomed large, but instead of forcing solutions, I practiced patience. I focused on small steps, trusted the process, and reminded myself that delays don't define my worth. Slowly, the fear softened, and clarity emerged. Being patient with yourself is just as crucial. We often judge ourselves harshly when we stumble, when we fail a test, miss a deadline, or fall short of expectations. Fear of failure can paralyze us, making every mistake feel like proof we're not enough. But Kanti invites compassion. Growth is messy, and mistakes are part of the journey. I've had moments where I doubted my abilities, especially when learning something new. The fear of not being good enough was suffocating. But by giving myself permission to be imperfect, to learn slowly, I found freedom. Patience reminded me that every setback is a step toward growth, not a dead end. How do you cultivate this? Start by pausing when fear arises. Notice the urge to control or rush. Take a deep breath and say, "This can wait. I don't need all the answers now." When discomfort hits, whether it is anxiety about the future or frustration with a delay, sit with it. Feel it without trying to fix it. For me, this practice has been grounding. During moments of uncertainty, I focus on the present task, whether it is washing dishes or writing a note, trusting that the bigger picture will unfold. Also, be kind to yourself. When you make a mistake, instead of spiraling into self-criticism, say, "This is part of learning. I am growing." This builds resilience, turning fear into fuel for progress. Patience transforms fear by teaching you to trust life's rhythm. It is not about eliminating uncertainty, but about meeting it with grace. With Kanti, you learn to tolerate discomfort, to see delays as opportunities, and to embrace your imperfections as part of your humanity. This practice has helped me face life's challenges with a steadier heart, and I believe it can do the same for you. So, the next time fear pushes you to rush or control, pause, breathe. Trust that time will bring clarity. In that patience, you'll find a strength that fear can touch, a resilience that carries you forward, no matter what comes. You've just explored 6 powerful Buddhist lessons that can change the way you face fear forever. From seeing fear as a fleeting illusion to embracing life's unpredictability with patience. These teachings remind us that fear doesn't have to define us, can guide us toward growth, connection, and inner peace. I've shared how these principles have helped me find calm in life's storms, and I believe they can do the same for you. The beauty of this wisdom is that it is not about erasing fear, but about meeting it with courage, compassion, and clarity. So, here is my challenge to you. Take one of these practices, whether it is mindful breathing, reflecting on impermanence, or letting go of attachment, and try it this week. Notice how it shifts your perspective. You don't need to have all the answers, you just need to take one step. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button, share it with someone who needs it, and subscribe for more insights to live with purpose and peace. Let us keep this journey going. Comment below and tell me which lesson spoke to you most. Together, we can face fear and build a life filled with courage and freedom. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.